The journey to Greenland began with a simple idea: to explore one of the coldest and most remote places on Earth in just 44 hours. It sounded impossible, but the challenge itself made it exciting. Greenland is known for its endless ice, silent landscapes, and powerful nature. People say that when you visit Greenland, time feels slower, and the world becomes quiet. With only 44 hours, every moment mattered, and every decision had to be careful and fast. The flight landed in a small airport surrounded by snow-covered mountains and frozen land. As soon as the doors opened, a wave of cold air rushed inside. The cold was sharp and fresh, and it made every breath feel clean. The sky was pale blue, and the sun sat low on the horizon, even though it was daytime. Everything looked peaceful, but also wild and untamed. There were no tall buildings, no busy streets, and no loud noises, only wind, snow, and silence. After leaving the airport, the journey continued by a small bus that moved slowly across icy roads. The driver was a local man who had lived in Greenland his entire life. He spoke calmly and shared stories about the land. He explained how people survive in such extreme conditions and how nature controls daily life. In winter, darkness lasts for many hours, and in summer, the sun hardly sets. Life here teaches patience, respect, and strength. The first stop was a small coastal town where colorful houses stood against the white snow. The bright red, blue, and yellow buildings looked like pieces of art placed carefully in the frozen land. Children were playing outside, wearing thick clothes and warm boots. Their laughter filled the cold air, reminding everyone that life continues even in the harshest places. Fishermen were preparing their boats, while others were carrying supplies and food. Walking through the town, it was easy to see how closely people were connected to nature. Every home had strong windows and solid walls to protect against the cold winds. Small dogs pulled sleds across the snow, moving quickly and smoothly. These dogs were strong, loyal, and perfectly adapted to this environment. Their energy and excitement showed how important they were to daily life in Greenland. Later that day, the adventure continued toward the icy wilderness. A guide led the group across frozen paths, explaining how glaciers are formed and how slowly they move. Standing near a massive glacier, the power of nature became clear. The ice was thick, ancient, and silent, but deep inside it, small cracks and sounds showed that it was alive and constantly changing. The light reflected off the ice, creating soft shades of blue and white that felt almost unreal. As the sun slowly moved across the sky, the temperature dropped even further. Thick gloves, warm jackets, and heavy boots became essential. Every step on the ice had to be careful, as one mistake could lead to a fall. Despite the cold, the beauty of the landscape made everything worth it. Endless fields of snow stretched toward the horizon, broken only by distant mountains and frozen rivers. During a short break, the guide shared stories of explorers who had traveled across Greenland in the past. Many of them faced dangerous storms, freezing temperatures, and extreme loneliness. Some succeeded, while others failed. Their courage and determination were inspiring, reminding everyone how powerful the human spirit can be when facing nature's challenges. As night approached, the sky slowly turned darker, and stars began to appear. In Greenland, the night sky feels closer, brighter, and more alive. Without city lights, the stars shine clearly, and sometimes, the northern lights appear, dancing across the sky in shades of green and purple. That night, luck was on their side. Soft waves of green light slowly moved above, creating a magical scene that felt almost unreal. Silence filled the air as everyone watched in awe. The second day began early, with the sound of wind and distant ice cracking. After a simple breakfast, the journey continued toward a nearby fjord. The path was narrow and surrounded by tall icy walls. At the end of the trail, a frozen ocean opened up, stretching endlessly. Large pieces of ice floated on the dark water, moving slowly with the currents. Seals rested on the ice, lifting their heads to observe the visitors before slipping quietly back into the sea. A small boat waited near the shore, ready to carry the group deeper into the fjord. As the boat moved forward, the silence of the surroundings became even stronger. The only sounds were the soft hum of the engine and the gentle splash of water against the ice. Towering icebergs rose from the sea like frozen giants, each one shaped differently by time and weather. Some were smooth and clean, while others were sharp and rough, showing layers of ice formed over thousands of years. The guide pointed out cracks and holes where water flowed through the ice, explaining how melting glaciers contribute to rising sea levels around the world. This reminder added a serious tone to the journey. Greenland, though beautiful, is also a symbol of climate change. The ice that has existed for centuries is slowly disappearing, changing the future of the planet. After returning to land, there was time to visit a small museum that showed the history and culture of Greenland's people. Ancient tools, clothing, and hunting equipment were displayed, telling stories of survival and adaptation. These objects showed how humans learned to live in harmony with nature, using only what was needed and respecting the environment. The simplicity and wisdom of these traditions offered valuable lessons for the modern world. As the final hours approached, a quiet feeling settled in. 44 hours had passed quickly, yet the memories felt deep and powerful. The cold, the silence, the people, and the landscapes had all left a lasting impression. Greenland was not just a place of ice and snow, but a land full of life, history, and meaning. The return journey began under a soft, pale sky. Looking out of the window, the frozen land slowly disappeared into the distance. Though the visit was short, the experience felt complete. It was a reminder that sometimes, even a brief adventure can change the way we see the world. Greenland, in just 44 hours, had shown the beauty of simplicity, the strength of nature, and the importance of respect for our planet. The second part of the journey across Greenland began with a feeling of excitement mixed with respect. After experiencing the cold, the silence, and the powerful beauty of the land, every moment now felt more meaningful. Time was limited, but the desire to explore more was strong. Each step forward promised a new discovery, and each breath in the cold air reminded everyone how alive they were. The morning sky was soft and pale, with gentle shades of pink and blue spreading across the horizon. The sun slowly rose, lighting up the snowy mountains and frozen valleys. Everything looked peaceful, yet full of hidden energy. The group prepared for another day of travel, checking their equipment, tightening their jackets, and warming their hands. The cold was intense, but the spirit of adventure made it easy to forget. The journey continued by snowmobile, moving quickly across wide fields of ice and snow. The sound of the engines echoed across the empty land, breaking the deep silence. Cold wind rushed past, touching the face like tiny needles, but the excitement of speed made it thrilling. The open space felt endless, and the distant mountains appeared small and far away. Traveling this way offered a feeling of freedom that was difficult to describe. Soon, the group reached a remote settlement where only a few families lived. The houses were small but strong, built to protect against harsh winds and freezing temperatures. Smoke rose gently from chimneys, showing signs of warmth and life inside. Local people welcomed the visitors with friendly smiles and warm drinks. Despite the difficult environment, their hospitality was generous and sincere. Inside one of the homes, stories were shared about daily life in Greenland. The family explained how they prepare for long winters, store food, and rely on each other for support. Children studied at home during extreme weather, and adults worked as hunters, fishermen, and craftsmen. Life here required patience, teamwork, and deep respect for nature. These values were passed down from generation to generation, shaping a strong and caring community. After saying goodbye, the journey continued toward the northern coastline. The path followed frozen rivers and narrow valleys, surrounded by tall cliffs of ice and rock. Every turn revealed a new view, more stunning than the last. Sunlight reflected off the snow, creating a bright glow that made everything sparkle. The land seemed untouched, pure, and ancient, as if time itself had slowed down. At the coast, the frozen sea stretched endlessly toward the horizon. Large icebergs floated quietly, moving slowly with the currents. Their shapes were strange and beautiful, formed by years of wind, water, and temperature changes. Some looked like castles, others like animals or sleeping giants. Standing before them felt humbling, as if nature were reminding everyone of its immense power. A short walk along the icy shore revealed small tracks in the snow, signs of Arctic animals moving silently through the land. The guide explained how polar bears, Arctic foxes, and seals survive in this extreme environment. Each species has adapted perfectly to the cold, developing thick fur, strong bodies, and clever hunting skills. These animals are symbols of resilience, showing how life can flourish even in the harshest conditions. As the day moved forward, clouds slowly gathered, and the wind became stronger. Snow began to fall gently, covering the ground in a fresh white blanket. The weather changed quickly, reminding everyone how unpredictable Greenland could be. The group moved carefully, following the guide closely to avoid danger. In such a remote place, safety depended on trust, preparation, and teamwork. During a quiet moment, there was time to reflect on the experience so far. The stillness of the land allowed thoughts to become clear. Away from busy cities, constant noise, and endless responsibilities, the mind felt calm and focused. The simple rhythm of travel, rest, and observation brought a sense of peace that was rare in modern life. Later, the journey led to an ancient ice cave hidden beneath a massive glacier. Entering the cave felt like stepping into another world. The walls were smooth and shining, glowing softly in shades of blue. Light filtered through the ice, creating magical patterns that danced across the surfaces. The air inside was cold and clean, and every sound echoed gently, adding to the sense of wonder. The guide explained how these caves are formed by melting water carving pathways through the ice. Each year, their shape changes, making every visit unique. Standing inside, it was impossible not to feel small and grateful, surrounded by a natural masterpiece created over centuries. Cameras captured the beauty, but no image could fully express the feeling of being there. As evening approached, the group returned to their base, tired but fulfilled. Warm meals and hot drinks provided comfort after a long day in the cold. Stories were shared, laughter filled the room, and friendships grew stronger. Though the stay was short, the shared experience created a deep connection among everyone. That night, the sky once again offered a spectacular show. The northern lights appeared, flowing gracefully across the darkness. Green, purple, and white lights moved like gentle waves, creating a peaceful dance in the heavens. Watching this natural display felt like a gift, a final reminder of Greenland's magic before departure. The final morning arrived quietly. Bags were packed, equipment was checked, and one last look was taken at the frozen landscape. Though only 44 hours had passed, the experience felt timeless. Greenland had offered lessons of patience, respect, courage, and wonder. The land had spoken in silence, teaching more than words ever could. As the journey home began, the memories remained vivid. The icy wind, the endless snow, the friendly faces, and the glowing skies would stay in the heart forever. Greenland was not just a destination, but a powerful reminder of the beauty and strength of our planet. In a short time, it had changed perspectives, awakened curiosity, and inspired a deeper appreciation for nature and life itself.